Morning, everyone. Today is Monday, April 8th, 2024, and this Town of Crestone Board of Trustees meeting is being held both in person and via Zoom. The time is 9:31, and in order to complete the town's business in a timely manner, the following procedures will be followed for all town meetings, including those hosted by Zoom. All meeting participants must keep their microphones muted and their videos turned off except during citizens' comments and unless called on to speak by the board. Per the Town of Crestone Board of Trustees Procedures and Rules of Order, Section 7.3, we allow 15 minutes total for citizens' comments. During those 15 minutes, speakers will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak, after which they will be informed that their 3 minutes are up and their microphones will be muted. Before speaking, please state your name and address for the record. If you have comments that are longer than 3 minutes, or if the time for citizens' comments expired before you had a chance to speak, please send your comments as correspondence to Town Hall, and the board will respond to your letters. We will take citizen comments for up to 15 minutes as per our procedures. If multiple citizens have the same comments to make, please be brief. Should the time allotted for citizens' comments expire before you have a chance to speak, you may submit your comments to Town Hall to be included as correspondence to the board at their next regular meeting. Ariel, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mayor Danforth. Here. Trustee Byer.
Here.
Trustee Mendez Sanchez.
Here.
Trustee Lakai.
Here.
Trustee Kinney.
Here.
Trustee Martinez.
Here.
Trustee Pasluzzi.
Here. Thank you, Ariel. We'll have reading of the vision statement. I would like to ask Kizan Lakai to read our vision statements this morning.
Historic Crestone, Colorado exemplifies small mountain town beauty with a community committed to sustainable living practices and spiritual traditions. The town continues to celebrate its pioneering spirit and unique diversity through contemporary self-reliance. Crestone's goals are to enhance economic viability, environmental preservation, renewable energy use, and social responsibility.
Thank you, Kizan. Item number 3, the next item is approval of the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? Dennis?
Yes, I would like to, under discussion items, J, the personnel handbook should be an action item for approval.
I think it needs more conclusion. I don't think it's an action item as yet. There are some issues with the personnel handbook. So I would leave it under discussion and I'll point those issues out that I found. I haven't gotten through it all the way, but I do have some notes that
That's
I'd like to address.
That's fine.
So we don't vote on it today, okay?
Okay. Under action item A and F, if you can combine those, I can get those done real quickly in one swoop.
Excellent.
Anything else?
Yes. Discussion item E. Table until after the employee evaluations. In discussion item F, I don't know if that was something that.
That wasn't right. I mean, I put it on there only, I asked to put it on there only so that you guys.
So you want to table E?
Yes.
Okay.
I apologize, was that action item E or discussion item?
Discussion.
Discussion.
I don't know if F even counts, I was thinking that F would be, because of all the stuff that we had in our finance, all the financials that we got in our book. I thought that maybe we would be discussing that, or you guys have discussed that in the finance committee, but if you guys didn't have a meeting, then we can take that one off too.
Okay, so alleviate F.
Video meeting.
No. And one last item, we don't have any minutes to approve.
Correct.
Yeah, I would request that we table that. I didn't have the chance to print them all out. You guys. Or you didn't have a chance to review them either.
So, Ariel is in the position of having to go through our recorded, recordings of the minutes, because there were no minutes taken. So this is a time-consuming, labor-intensive effort, and she's been working on it and nearly finished, but this is taking hours and hours to go through all those recordings. I have an item, I'm sorry, and then I'll call it. I have an item that I think should be placed under the action items, and that is the fact that as soon as the new mayor is appointed this morning, I will be leaving. I will no longer be mayor, and that will create a vacancy in the board. And the clock starts ticking right away. I see that we have in the audience, candidate who applied, and the board may or may not wish to speak with her to question her, but at any rate, I think it should clearly become an action item for consideration and discussion according to what Judy Abrams said. We should recognize the vacancy that will exist very shortly now. So I'd like to add that as an action item.
I think it's on there.
I'm not sure what number it's gonna wind up being, but it'll be, I guess.
I think it's already on there.
Where is it?
P,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's a discussion on how to proceed.
But I
Is that
think
what
it
you're
should, I
looking for?
think it, I wanna move it into an action item, for, Judy said we should either appoint someone or instruct our town clerk to send out a notice to people to, submit a letter of intent if they're interested. That is an action item that we should take at this meeting. And so I will add it as an action item, not a discussion item. No, I think, Kristen had her hand up before you, and then Adam. Did you?
No, I'm going to add, go ahead.
I guess as far as that discussion item F with the finance committee that we took off, probably we could at least give an update on where we're at. So maybe leave it on.
Anything else? Kristen?
So, something to consider, that because of the eclipse that's happening today, does the board have an interest in adjourning from, say, or going into recess from, say, 11:15 until 3 today?
Yes.
Because of the eclipse? I know that my own spiritual beliefs compel me to want to spend that time in prayer. And I don't know how other people feel about this. About that, we look at doing a recess during that time period. And if we don't finish all the items on the agenda, that we continue the town meeting for next Monday.
I was gonna say the same thing, I was hoping that we could take a nice,
I was gonna suggest, or suggest to the new mayor, that we have an extended lunch, because It begins, I think, at 11:23, at 11 something, and 12:23 is at its maximum. At 1:15, it's over for us here. So, we could either have an extended lunch hour that would begin promptly at 11:15, for instance. And,
I'd say 11, I'd say, like Chitin said, 11, maybe until 2. I mean, it says it ends at 1:51 is what it says here, but.
we have the attorney's time that we could, but I think we should probably, call him and have that extended time.
Adam's first, and then I'd like to speak.
I didn't raise my hand.
I was.
You know,
Mayor, if you don't mind, I am actually online.
I'm sorry, oh, there you are, Seth, thank you, I didn't know you were here. What is your, time schedule like?
I would have some availability this afternoon. If it's after 3, I guess I would ask for some flexibility or just a heads up if that's what we're going to do. And then I may just point out that we do have agenda item 5, which is the appoint a new mayor and mayor pro tem.
Yes, we're gonna do that, as soon as the oath of office is taken. The very next item instantly is gonna be appointment of the new mayor and the mayor pro tem.
And it was my understanding you were trying to add that as an action item. I was just trying to point that I believe that's already on our agenda.
Well, I have it as item 5.
She was trying to add how to handle appointing a trustee vacancy.
I was saying to add to the agenda, discussion and potential action of, how we're going to, deal with the, vacancies which will be caused as I leave. And that we should we have the option as we did last time in the very same sort of situation of either appointing, someone or, if we do not choose to do that, then we should instruct the deputy clerk to send out a notice asking anyone who's interested in applying for the board vacancy to submit a letter of intent in the town hall. Benjamin?
So, item M on action items is, to schedule a special meeting for the Board of Trustees. I was thinking if we move that up, then anything that we decide we wanna put on that special meeting could be put over there. So we can just start going through and say, we should have that for special
Yes.
meeting.
That was going to be my comment. With these reports, under trustees reports, there's a lot of these things that are just clogging up our agenda. I think that whoever that is in control of what they put on here, they send a report, let us read it in our binder, let us digest it, and then we have questions. We don't need this. This is too much. We don't need meetings. I mean, if we got through all this, we'd be here till Friday. Let's condense some of this stuff, send in a report, and then we can peruse it with your findings. And then just say, well, this one I have a little question on, this one I have a question on. Where did you get this information? Then we can move forward, because we're just treading water here. And these things, these agendas are just getting longer and longer and longer, and this is not correct. If under trustees report, you might as well just scrap that and just go to all this. Seriously, I mean, how many times are you on here?
I'm just saying that we should move.
How many times are you on here? 1, 2,
Well,
3, 4,
The
5.
Firewise Committee requires us,
Agreed.
and the Dark Sky Committee doesn't have much, but, it could be 5 minutes.
Right.
A lot of this
Well,
stuff.
but there's an action item under the Dark Sky report. That's why I asked for that to be a separate agenda item, and that's.
So there is stuff, but we can do a lot of this on Monday.
So,
Okay.
before we get into the weeds a little bit here, I would just like some clarity on my request that we're looking at taking a longer lunch recess. He said from 11:15 until, what was the beginning time again? Are we gonna use
On
it?
my thing, I have the,
Or 11?
1:30 would.
it says here that 11:23, it begins, maximum is 12:36 and then ends at 1:51.
So we could look at going from adjourning at 11. Because people need to be able to get home. So we, 11, we go into recess and then we come back. Do you have a time suggestion?
I'd say 2:30
That's a long.
or 2.
2,
How about 2 o'clock? Let's do 2.
okay.
Is there a motion needed?
I would
No, we're
make,
gonna approve the agenda. This will be part of the amendment to the agenda. Well, in view of that, and I would like to change to move up the discussion and any potential action of the new board vacancy to the first item under item 10, action items, and make that item A, because this meeting is gonna may go on for a long time. And according to Judy Egbert, it's incumbent upon us at this point, because of this situation, to discuss it and either take an action or put it out for bid.
We can do it that way.
Clock is
too.
running.
I would like to go up with the agenda we have right now, so move forward.
So break from 11 to 2.
Well, yeah, and action item could be capital A, little a, and appoint.
I don't think
Or
that we should.
discuss
Then we don't have to
potential
change-
action,
Then we don't have to change the whole thing.
discuss
No,
potential
I
action.
don't see why we have to have that one right now. We should go with the other trustees and approve the new mayor. The other discussion, we can do that one later. We don't have to do it right now.
They're saying put it down here at the beginning after.
All we're doing
But
is
you say
moving it.
it's in A, okay, whatever, so,
10A.
okay, let's move forward.
And that's on the advice and telling us what to do by Judy Egbert, who's our expert on this sort of thing.
I don't know, well, you said, yeah,
That's what she said to do. That's what we've done. And
yeah, but we're wasting so much time right now. I don't know, it should be in the agenda already.
Kism,
so we're using up a lot of time.
we certainly are.
I would like to make a suggestion, as I go through this agenda, to have items that we're going to hold for the next week. See if you agree with me or not. I would like to see, item, under action items, E, the SURSA audit to go for the next week, and all that was involved with that, so we can really spend some time. I would like to see items, L. And then N, D, P, Q,
Wait, L, M,
L,
L, M,
M, N, O, P,
P,
Q, R, T, U, and, that would be the ones that I think that we can postpone.
We can also postpone
The discussion items, this is just my opinion, under discussion items, I can wait till next Monday. A, B, C, D, E,
E's already been.
and
tabled.
then I think the finance committee, the hiring committee, firewise committee, dark skies committee, personal handbook, and public relations. I think all of those can go to next Monday when we can really have the time needed to discuss them. Those are my suggestions.
I like that.
I do too.
If anybody feels like there's something that's more urgent, we could flag it for being if we have time when we come back to the afternoon.
Ariel, and then I have a comment.
Cause there's,
I would suggest not tabling items.
What's that
P, because.
action or discussion?
No, P.
Action item P, Cause that's how you would like to proceed with the open vacancy. And then also item M as well, because that is scheduling the meeting for Monday. And then, finally, I would also say not to schedule, table discussion item C, because Craig is here at this time, he's saying.
Okay, I appreciate the.
So a couple of things I would like to, delete as an action item, and item number O, create a municipal representative for the Board of Council of Governments. We don't need to take any action. I was appointed that for a long 12 years and since I'm leaving there, moving that on to another area and give
Take that
another
off.
community an
Yes.
opportunity, so there's nothing there that can be completely eliminated. And I would also like to change the dark sky. I had said to make that an action item because we have an action item that needs to be taken under that. Perfectly good to wait to do it for the next meeting, but it needs to be an action item and not a report, not a discussion.
And I would also say if we move along in a real timely fashion, and this afternoon we have some time, we could always add some of those things back in that we feel might have more of an urgency.
Well, we either take them off or we don't.
Yeah,
You
it's
take
either
them off or
approved
not.
or it's not.
But the chance of having extra time.
So I
slim to
would
none.
go with Ariel's suggestions of what we really need to address today. And with that, I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended,
So, well, and in addition to the other changes that we've already discussed.
as amended, yeah.
One thing would be to move M up to the front so that we can actually say that we're having that meeting.
Yeah.
And then we can put all that in.
Ariel?
Would you mind if I read through and clarify what we're tabling, so I know that it's right as amended? I have us tabling item 6, the minutes. I have us tabling, all the reports. I heard that we would like them in written format for you guys to read beforehand. Tabling action item E, the SURSA audit. Combining item F with item A, so Dennis can do them both at one time. Tabling item L, moving item M forward to the beginning of the agenda. Tabling items N, O,
Eliminating it.
eliminating item O.
Why would we, table L?
So, another suggestion on this, and maybe Seth has an opinion on the best way to proceed, is that we could keep the agenda as it is with these changes that have been suggested, and my suggestions, when we come to that item on the agenda, we can move to put that into the next month's meeting. Maybe that would be an easier way to go. Of just when we come across it, is we make a motion to move that to the next one. I mean, to the next week. Is that an easier way to do it? Opinions?
Yeah, but we still have to move M up so that we know
Yeah,
we're
we got.
having that meeting. So we just set the meeting and then we just say, basically,
Yeah,
go
I'm
back.
just looking at what is the best procedure here, whether we take them on the agenda now, or we just go ahead and when we get to those items, say, and move to put that on the next meeting.
I would like the Ariel to continue with what she was going through.
Okay.
My notes.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, let's listen to, she was doing that and then we can listen.
Okay,
Moving up item P to the beginning of the agenda as well. Tabling item Q, R, T, and U.
Yes.
Under discussion items, tabling A, B, D, E. And then I did need clarity, are we tabling all of the updates, the finance committee, hiring committee?
And the F is eliminated.
She said it.
F is not eliminated.
F is currently still there. The next one I have tabled was I, the dark sky, and to make that an action item on the next agenda. And then to also table item K.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm good, I'm just. Whichever seems like the best procedure.
we now have the first item under action items A, that reflects the change, and then that would just change everything else moving it down.
Would move everything down. Item A will now be scheduled special meeting for the Board of Trustees, and item B, decision on how to proceed with possible open Board of Trustees position. And then C would be emergency water tank repairs combined with request for ORC Brett Collier to submit contractor services.
I make motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Okay, a second.
Discussion, what is,
I believe your election was illegal, and I believe what you're about to go forward with is illegal. You've got your attorney on the line, the advertising for the position of mayor never happened. The advertising for the election came out 2 days after the election. Now, you can go forth with all your stuff, but that's my point of view.
Seth?
I don't think he heard me.
Seth, did you hear that?
I heard a comment that someone believes the election was illegal due to some posting or notice requirements. He stated that they were published after the election. I am unaware of any publication violations, and I have not been provided with any. It is my understanding that we had a election coordinator, and she was working with our publication schedule and the election calendar.
The
If
newspaper
we would
came
like-
out on the 4th of, and the election was on the 2nd in the Crescent. Okay, the board knew on January that there was no advertising for the mayor. The mayor herself brought it up at the meeting. There have been no minutes since October. There have been no financial reports since August. As you, as an attorney, I believe, had taken part in illegal activity with the auditor, or the auditor did it. One of the two of you did something improper. So go forth with that as an officer of the court.
Mayor, I'm hearing quite a few comments about quite a few different points here. Would you like to specifically ask me a question, Mayor?
I guess this is. My only question is, did we fulfill the election requirements of reporting in a timely manner? I don't know that. In the
professional.
The issue, I think, is that there was a discrepancy between our former acting administrator, Seth, who may or may not have done certain things. I think Ariel has done everything that was required since she came on, but I don't know about the, I can read and I don't know the answer about the reporting
I agree.
or the significance of.
I suggest that we ask our attorney to look into this and let's move along with our agenda.
Please.
I would ask Ms. Egbert to have a report and a stance on the position also, as she is the one who has done all of this work and I believe would have that information firsthand.
I think that should be done in a very timely manner. I think it should be an immediate action item to ask her to do that. And then to hear back, for the board to hear back from you.
I have a question. If we were to proceed, Mayor said that she's leaving here in a few minutes, I guess.
That's correct.
We would be without a mayor if there was an appointment and what is being said is found true, to be true, what happens then?
Then we are back to where we have a vacancy on the board, and we will revert to our Board of Trustees procedures and rules of order, which is basically how I intend to proceed today anyway, with any positions that were not filled at our election or positions that may need to be backfilled due to appointments made from the possible Board of Trustees as they sit currently.
I would wish to state for the record that I'm not resigning. It's my understanding that there was an election and, I did not choose to be a candidate for re-election, but I'm not resigning. I'm simply following our procedures. Adam?
I mean, my understanding that is if what he's saying is true, then Kizan and I are the only trustees left here.
Yeah.
Because everybody's seat is up.
And I think that we need to just proceed and have our clerk and our attorney look into the situation. But I think that, that is, we need to proceed as scheduled and let our attorney and our clerk look into this.
Well, and I would add Judy Egbert, who is our official election official, and who's very good conversant with all of the rules, who will play a key role in answering these.
And I think it comes down to our attorney then looking if there was any irregularities, how it actually affects the election. So we can't determine that at this moment. I think our attorney and Judy Egbert who handled the election and our clerk can look at it and bring their determination and any remedies back to the board if needed. But I feel like we can't make this decision right now. It's something that our attorney and our professional staff need to look at and determine what was a irregularity and how did it affect the legality of the election, and they'll come back to us with a decision.
So I just have one question, Seth, and I think we've answered it already. Have answered it already. If if there was a failure in the required reporting, and we proceed as we need to under our rules, administrative rules and procedures now, and create a new mayor.
I'd like to hear from them.
So I have a motion on the table that we approve the agenda as amended with the suggestions by our town deputy clerk.
Kishan, would you like to amend your motion to include the situation we're now discussing?
I don't think that's part of the agenda. I don't think
It's not part of the agenda, but we have a
And I
motion.
think we can add it under the attorney's report, and we ask the attorney to look into this issue. So I would say let's add that to
Before
the
we,
attorney.
Benjamin,
I think we should add, calling Judy and have her get on the line right away so we can find out what's,
that's an interesting idea,
I mean, that's all we,
because it is it is a situation that could have consequences.
I would ask our attorney's opinion on this. Should we proceed with our agenda? Swear in our officers while the research is being done about the election.
Or should we
So-
take some immediate action to contact Judy Egbert? Seth, what do you think?
Trustee and Mayor, this is the first I have heard of an accusation of a lack of procedure or publication. I don't believe that we can freeze and postpone all business and all actions by the town. This is an item that we can and will look into, and I believe the town was trying to remedy and prevent by the hiring of Miss Judy Egbert, who is an official who has done this quite well and quite professionally in the past. I would ask that we continue on as is, and if there are failures or something that was not done correctly, then we can address them at that time. without knowing exactly what was done or not done, if that is the case. We can't just be froze in a state of fear or constant or perpetual inaction. There was an election that was held. There were votes that were tallied and canvassed. We have those results, and I believe we should proceed with impaneling these trustees, having them take their oath of office. We do not have a mayor. I would make a recommendation that we make an action to appoint or an elect the mayor, and then continue on. If we have a vacancy on the board, we can once again take an action to appoint or elect that vacancy on the board.
Go ahead.
I agree. I echo what you just said. This is the most professional election I've ever witnessed. After 56 years. It was precise. I got my ballot a long time ago. It was posted that there was terms coming up, a lot of terms coming up. People have the opportunity to investigate. If they're that interested in the government of this town, they would come talk to our clerk. They would come talk to one of us. Judy Egbert is a professional. She did not mess up. They closed the door. They opened at 7, they closed at 7. They did everything correctly. I think we should move on and quit nitpicking on silly things. Let's move on. Let's appoint some people. Let's get this ball on.
We hear you.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting upset though, because every little thing we do, we're getting picked on. Let's move forward.
It was clear the point he say, the election happened in the second, and the newspaper come on the fourth.
That's the newspaper's problem.
No, it's not.
No, so that's the problem he mentioned. If you cannot figure out that problem, is that little, but it's important because that's the rules.
We talked about this. We
No.
talked, we had to
No,
get
but-
it in the
Okay.
paper.
He mentioned
before it's
The two
actually
different
done.
days, that's the only problem. He didn't mention all the problem, it's just the publication of the
A month
newspaper.
prior, a month prior, we were looking at the deadline for when you had to get
Well,
the.
I just
paper.
mentioned what he said. He said that the election was bad, it's just the publication came late.
And
Everything else was
perfect.
perfect. The only issue.
Yeah, but I don't know, I just try to clarify what is the situation and we should move forward.
And I think we should go forward, but I'm saying that is a
Okay,
huge
let's
issue.
move forward. Okay.
All right.
I still have a motion on the table to approve
Oh.
the agenda as
Any
amended.
further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Good.
Opposed?
Nay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ariel,
The next,
Kissin hasn't voted.
we're not.
Oh, I apologize.
Could be a tiebreaker.
Was it a tie?
No, it was 3-2, but Kissin wasn't here, and, the mayor is the tiebreaker.
Well, it's a dilemma because I don't want to be mayor anymore because I felt my time was up after 18 years and 12 years.
And you've served two terms, correct?
I'd say three consecutive terms.
Well, yeah.
And before that, 2 consecutive terms as trustee. I've been coming to these meetings for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I vote,
trustees,
and my vote to, is, I assumed, but.
So you wanna take a.
But Armando is correct. If we
But
could-
it apparently was approved, we have a quorum.
So we,
It was approved,
We've
so,
already burned up almost an hour.
Yeah.
And we've shortened this meeting already. We've got issues on here that have to be taken care of right now.
yeah.
Whether
Okay,
we're a
we'll
board
move on.
or just concerned
That's right.
citizens, we need to get this done.
The time is 10:10, 10:09.
Oath of office.
We will move on to agenda item number 4, and do the oath of office for the newly elected officials.
Do you have your script area?
Thank you.
Sorry, we had to take the So we need to do it one by one.
Yeah, I'll do it one by one. I'd like to start with Dennis. Dennis, would you prefer to swear or affirm or swear by the ever living God?
You need, Ariella, he needs to stand, you need to.
I just need information from him first and then I can stand and.
Swear.
Okay. And I'll just go ahead and ask all of you how you would like to proceed. Armando, would you like to swear, affirm? Which one would you prefer? Swear. How about you, Benji?
I'll swear.
And then finally, how would you like to,
I swear.
you swear as well? Structure?
Clerk, if I may.
Yes, please.
So it's my understanding after reading the canvas that trustee Byer was reelected for a 4-year term that will be expiring in April 2028. Trustee Mendina Sanchez was appointed to fill a seat vacated by trustee Scheide, whose term would have expired in April 2026. Trustee Mendea Sanchez has been reelected to remain in this seat through the expiration of the term, which is April 2026. Trustee Pazlusny was appointed to fill the vacated seat of trustee Hume. Trustee Hume's term would have expired in April 2026, and trustee Pazlusny has been reelected to remain in this seat through the expiration of the term, which is April 2026. Trustee Martinez was reelected for a 4-year term. That term will expire in April 2028.
Thank you, Seth.
One correction, Seth. I was taking over the remainder of the term for Dave Schneider, whatever his name was. And where Armando was taking Humes.
So I had those switched.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you clarify those?
So that stands just with the correction that trustee Pazlusny was taking over for trustee Scheide, and trustee Mendea Sanchez was taking over for trustee Hume in their vacated seats.
And their terms are till April 2026?
Those are what my notes and information states. Yes, clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
We do it all at the time,
Start, I'll have you stand up, I'll give you all appointment.
okay, I thought all for us once.
All four.
I was.
No, I'll do everyone one at a time, so let's just start with Dennis. So I'll have you raise your hand, your right hand. Say, I, Dennis,
I get it.
do swear
Do you swear?
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of
and
Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
laws of the State of
and
Colorado,
will faithfully perform the duties of the office
and will faithfully perform the duties of the office of trustee,
upon which I'm about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
And, okay, so I'll be ready. I, Armando.
I, Armando, I, Armando Mendez Sanchez,
Swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that we support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of Colorado.
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
And the laws of the State of Colorado.
the laws of the State of Colorado,
And will faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of
of the
trustee
the trustees
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon of what to enter.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Ben. I, Benjamin Barr. Do swear
You swear?
that I will support the Constitution of the United
I will
States,
support the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
The state of Colorado.
and the laws of the State of Colorado,
And laws of the state of Colorado.
and will faithfully perform
And faithfully perform
the duties of the office of trustee
the duties of the office of trustee,
upon which I'm about to enter.
of which I'm upon which I'm about to enter.
I can really work it out. I pretty much signing with this.
Swear,
Swear
that I will support the Constitution
that
of the
I will
United
support
States,
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the State of
Constitution of
Colorado,
the State of Colorado.
and the laws of the state
And
of
the laws of
Colorado.
the state of Colorado.
And will faithfully perform the duties
For both the duties
of the office
of
trustee upon which I'm about to enter.
About this, without it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ariel. Congratulations to each of you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, to appoint a new mayor and mayor pro tem, pro tempore for the town of Redstone.
So I would like to make a motion to appoint Adam King to be mayor. I feel like Adam has spent many years on the board of trustees. Prior to this term, he has learned at least a dozen or more years as a trustee. And I feel like there's a lot of community support for Adam in the last mayoral election. It was a very close election and Adam had, nearly half of the votes. And so I think he has really gained a lot of the community trust and support towards being mayor. And I have found him to be well informed, very non-biased in his opinions. He does the research and he greatly listens to the community, which I feel is probably one of the most important things towards being a mayor. So if Adam would be willing to serve, I would like to see him appointed as the mayor of the town of Redstone.
Is there a second to that motion?
Is a second?
Discussion? We'll have a ballot, Ariel, we'll have a ballot vote, everyone will vote in writing. We'll pass out papers and then pick them up. Each of us will vote either yes or no to the motion. We did this last time.
We just appoint, yeah, I have a question. Are we just appointing, can we appoint someone else? Can we nominate someone else?
If this nomination is not passed, then we would have entertain another nomination.
I would
Mayor, I
say
believe that
nominate somebody
I'm
else.
sorry.
trustee, that a separate appointment could be requested if a trustee would like to do that. And then there could be a vote by the trustees as to who they would like to have fill that position.
Okay, that's in rules, Robert's Rules of Order, but I don't know. Okay, are there any other nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate Benjamin Byer for the position of mayor.
I'll second.
We'll have then, Ariel, voting the two names, either yes or no. And you'll pass those out, we'll each vote, and then we'll read the result, just in terms of who is elected,
I don't have a
appointed.
sorry.
Adam,
So just for discussion's sake, it sounds like you guys have been talking about you stepping in as mayor.
Not necessarily,
Is this the first you've heard of it?
it's not the first I've heard of
Okay,
it.
so you've been talking about it a little bit.
It's been talked about. I said that I didn't wanna have a struggle between, you and me. And, one of my biggest concerns is that it would be, I felt like you had a chance to actually run for mayor. And I felt like you turned that down so that you could run for another position, so that was a little bit of a notch against the town, being, that you're actually trying to get another position, but you're still wanna be mayor, and so that causes a little bit of a dilemma for some people, I would say, but, as far as being mayor, I would do it if the community wants me to do it. And-
The community at this point in
Yeah,
time being the board of
exactly.
trustees.
That's what thing there is now, I feel that if we want to do this, we should be making an election, because you've been here
We can
for,
do it,
I mean,
We
three
could do a
times
special election.
trustees, and I think it's better.
I mean, I would defer to you. I know for my own sake that people tell me they won't vote for me for commissioner because they would prefer me be mayor.
Mhm.
So the majority of people I talk to are expressing that they want me to be mayor, including Dennis up until we had a disagreement a week ago.
Mhm.
So, but I would defer to you. It's gonna be a lot of work that I would be happy to share that load with you.
Right.
I think it would have been cool or a little bit more honorable if any of the four of you had talked to us or me
Yeah.
before today, so that it would feel a little less
I haven't talked
divisive.
to either of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic, great. So, I mean, I feel like you and I could have had a more cohesive, prepared conversation
And
kind of work together on, but by all means, I would defer to you, to the point that we wouldn't even have to have a secret ballot vote, if that's what's up.
I think it's appropriate to do that. We've done it in the past, Adam.
the other option would be to go to a special election.
No, I don't think that is not an
I would
option.
suggest that one in that
It's
case.
not an option.
No, well, it's an option, right?
It is an option.
Yeah.
It's not an
So-
option. We have to have a mayor now.
Well,
Now.
we can appoint it, let's go ahead.
We don't have
The
that.
appointing is just for,
I think Warren's
The
gonna
board
make it.
vacancy,
if we
yes.
appoint
So,
a mayor today.
I'm sorry, one at a time. Go
If
ahead,
we
I'm
appoint
on
the-
the
if
floor.
we appoint the mayor, how long is going to be the mayor stay used to the time, the election is coming, he's going to serve the whole 3 years, 4 years? If we appointed him today, it's going to be for the 4 years,
No, I think it would be until the next general election in 2 years.
that's what I said, so.
Oh.
That's the difference between, you know, a regular election to this type.
And so I also had a person tell me that they were not going to vote for, Adam as county commissioner, so that he could be, the town mayor, and then somebody in a registered voter in the town of Crestone. So I just want to emphasize again the, large community support that Adam had in the last election, that he only lost by a couple of votes. So-
One vote.
One vote. Twice, wasn't it?
Can I ask a question? Why does anyone who has said that they're not gonna vote for Adam relate to being mayor or not? That's a whole separate subject. County board is a whole separate subject. It shouldn't have any bearing on what we're doing here now.
Well, I use that as an example of, people in the community who were wanting to see, Adam be the mayor rather than the county commissioner. That, they really wanted to see him continue to work for the town of Crestone. And so that was another example of people who have talked to me and want to see the support for Adam as mayor.
I'll completely defer to you though, like, whenever anybody talks to me about it, they say, you're gonna be mayor, right, and who's gonna come after you, and I always 100% go to you. That you would clearly be
Well-
the best choice to carry us forward. So if you want to do that now, then I don't wanna fight you for that and
I
support
mean,
you.
that's how I feel as well. I actually feel that it's a big job
It's a huge job.
and it's something that is,
Unappreciated.
it's unappreciated and I do appreciate you doing this for so long. Cause I mean, I feel like I'm put in a position where, I actually, will do it, but I don't necessarily feel like, I'm 100% qualified yet.
So will you vote for you or for me?
I think that's an inappropriate.
I don't think that's inappropriate.
So personally, I think we need new blood in the county.
personally, and you'd be an excellent liaison for the town. I think that is the way to go. We don't need a 3 month or 7 month, mayor.
Well, yeah. I might be-
Okay, but, you know, I'm all for you, because I think you would be excellent in that position. I don't know who you were talking to, but,
People are saying that
we need
they,
new blood in the county.
And
And
same,
I think
and
this
same-
businessman has a vested interest, and hey, you gotta, there's a learning curve.
yeah, there's a learning curve, and that's
But
what
I think you guys can work together really well.
oh, I know we can, and
So
we have worked together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the floor next. Adam, in an earlier meeting on another subject, you brought up the same thing, asking, who's gonna vote, or you asked why I hadn't done, whatever. And I looked in Robert's Rules of Order, and it is not an appropriate question to demand or ask of, in this situation, who's gonna vote, or that is not, that's why we're gonna have a ballot, so we don't get into this.
Okay, so I
can't do
think
that.
having the ballot is appropriate. And I also wanna say too, things are in a state of flux right now. We don't know at this point if Adam will have, will be able to, was gonna win the election with the county commissioners. We don't know, but that's not going to be known until the election in November. And so there's this time period from now until November, that if Adam should win as the county commissioner, he could would resign his position on the board. And, if he was mayor, that position would become open again. And, certainly the position of trustee would become open again, if he was elected for November. So there's time here between now and November on what's gonna happen in the future. And, we have this time to
Let's go.
so I think the idea of going to a closed ballot is the right way to do it. We'll see how the vote goes and,
Okay, let's go ahead.
We get on.
All right, Ariel, would you pass out the ballots, please?
Yes, I'll pass them out here. I had everyone's name on here, and please just disregard and consider the first two names on this ballot, trustee Byer and trustee Kinney.
Yes or no?
I
Yes.
mean, I would say the last thing is, who wants to be the mayor of the
So,
trustee?
Adam, let's go for a vote. I close discussion. So we have the two nominees. And let's just print, yes, beside the name that you choose. There's a box.
That's not all. That's not a vote, that's just my swearing thing.
Okay.
Based on the ballot vote, the new mayor would be trustee Byer.
How many? Favor?
Am I supposed to read that? It's a secret.
No, I say how many votes I use.
Oh, I have 7 votes. I feel like I'm not supposed to say the number because it's a secret.
What was the vote?
It's for trustee Byer.
Very hard.
Congratulations. Feel like you're doing a good job. See, I feel like she's saying.
See you later, boss.
Bye-bye. Thanks for all you've done. All the years. Thank you. Here you go. Hey.
I haven't finished your app yet.
I'll see you.
Okay, I gotta be in service to this community, very best of my ability. I will do my absolute best to make sure that we are fair, we have consensus as best we can. I know it's just,
Thank you.
the best way to go into a seat, but I will accept it.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I ask the clerk to request an oath of office be completed with you?
I, Benjamin Byer,
Do swear
do swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of
and
Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
and the laws of the State of Colorado.
I will faithfully perform the duties
And will faithfully complete the duties
of the office of mayor,
of the office of mayor,
upon which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
I'll get you know.
That's my agenda.
So, and a question on that, I know it's not on the agenda, but I've been under the impression that basically mayor handles liaison or staff meetings.
Okay.
So is that something we would agree that Benjamin would take over now?
That'd be fine, as long, I mean, maybe for the first one, you could join in with me. As,
Sure.
you know, because you've been fantastic at working on that.
Okay, that would be Thursday, 2:00.
Does that time work? Well, we'll figure it out.
Sure.
Citizens.
No, we have to appoint a mayor pro tem. So that ask for a motion on that.
Like, they make a motion that trustee Martinez continue as mayor pro tem. Experience, was a pretty good meeting.
Is there a second? I'll second. Discussion.
Are you willing to accept the job? I see you shaking your head over there.
I just see all the enthusiasm in this room. Yeah, it's, I'm convenient. And I care.
Any more discussion? Yes.
I think one thing as a town that we're facing over the next year or two is PR and relation. And I think Ken does a really fantastic job at tracking things and paying attention and caring, and I think you're bad for PR. So you guys are that's gonna be something you have to be, you're gonna hear about
Okay. We're gonna hear about it?
it. The town's gonna, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm not really happy with the situation happening in this meeting. I always feel that everything happened under the table.
Mhm.
I don't feel that this is, the part I want to be. I hope that you step up, because this is not what people want. And I came here to serve because people want new people, new ideas. And the mayor was pretty sure that you can stay here, continue the whole thing is happening, so hoping you step up for your job.
Yes.
So, and I think Kim has done a really great job as the mayor of pro tem. No question about that. But I do think since we had such a divided vote here on the issue of mayor, that in the interest of balance and fairness, I would like to nominate, Adam to be the mayor pro tem.
I'll second.
Okay. So should we go back to, secret vote again?
I think we all know who everybody's voting for, but
However you guys would like to.
yeah, however y'all wanna do it.
For that too.
We have two appointments that are made and the nominations are accepted, then yes, we will go back to our ballot as per our personnel code, section 8, nominations and elections.
Similar with this, you just ignore the candidates except for trustee Martinez and trustee Kinney.
Trustee Martinez, I would ask that we, step up together. I mean, I know that you're disappointed.
Mendes.
Mendes. What did I say? Oh,
Martinez.
Martinez. Mendes, sorry. I'd ask that we step up together. I know that you're disappointed.
A lot.
And, there's been a lot of history for both Adam and I together,
know.
and, we definitely still can work together and we still can move forward on things, so I don't think it's, the end of the world
It is,
if you're not getting a job. I'm sorry.
it is for me, because I was expecting something different at this time. It's okay. I don't see any change in our work, but I know you and I respect you, but I think we need different current stuff. And we do my job.
I understand, and it will be different, I can assure you on that.
By the vote, the mayor pro tem will be trustee Kinney.
Thanks, buddy.
Next item on the agenda is, approval of minutes We don't have minutes though, is that correct? Yeah.
Right.
We will have minutes, hopefully, for this meeting.
I intend to have all of the minutes for you by the next meeting.
Seven is, citizens' comments. So we will have 15 minutes for citizen comments.
Me, I don't have a comment right now, I don't think. Right now, I'm just kind of
I
hanging
want
out.
to speak.
It's pretty lit at this point.
Warren Stephen? So, I've become a broken record for the last it's approaching 2 years. There have been no financial statements since August of last year. There have been no minutes since October of last year. The board, I believe, knowingly committed election irregularities. I believe they've violated the Constitution that they all just got done swearing that they would uphold through First Amendment rights. And I believe that they continue, or not continuing, yes, they're continuing to violate other constitutional issues as it regards to building permits in the town and how those are handled. Thanks. And the financial statements that are in the packets are more garbage that's been presented.
Any more citizens' comments in person? See one online.
I want to speak, Mr. Mayor, Dan Gray.
And address the record. Yes, Ben,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Mayor, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I can't hear your voice. And it's really hard to hear Kizen and the mayor, the assistant mayor too. Just so you know. Anyways, my name's Dan Gray. I'm from the Baca. And thank you very much for letting me have an opportunity to speak. I'm really happy to see some new faces. But I will still say the body politics in Crestone and the Baca Grande is definitely compromised. It's a hurting unit. And what I want to bring up today, though, is that I want to know, does Crestone consider itself a sanctuary town? I'd like to have that answered. And I'm bringing this up because in January, the SUV county commissioners had a meeting to discuss the influx of what I call migrant invaders. And so this is getting to be a very big issue. Like I said, it was on the front page of the Alamos Courier. I hope I said that. But this was the commissioners, and they're starting to see this influx of immigrants, and this is a big issue. And I want to know, is Crestone a sanctuary city? Have you made any plans as to how you're going to handle if there's a big influx of immigrants, invaders to Crestone? What's your plan? How do you think you can handle that? And if you wonder about what it's going to look like, just Google Carbondale, Colorado, and you can see what 125 Venezuela immigrants does to a town of 6,450. This is a real problem. It's serious. It's getting discussed all over the state, including Denver. They have no idea what they're going to do with their migrant invasion. And so I'm just wondering exactly what is Crestone's policy. Now, when I was on the Board of Trustees in the 90s, a proposal letter, a real nasty letter, was written on town stationery and sent to the Saguache County Commissioners, telling them to tell the sheriff to keep his deputies and the sheriff out of Crestone and the Baca Grande. And I want to know, what is Crestone's policy now in terms with dealing with the police? There needs to be some sort of a public statement, like you do your mission statement of the town board. What's your mission statement to the sheriff? That's a issue that I think needs addressing. Pardon?
Thank you, thank you.
That was,
Comments?
that was 3 minutes?
That was 3 minutes.
All right, thank you.
Any more citizens' comments? Seeing none. We'll move on to correspondence to the board. So we have a letter from, Mary Flowers. Not sure if this was a letter that was, given to us sometime back, or if this is a new letter, there's no date on it, so, I just kind of remember some of the same stuff that she, stated. She brought it in towards the beginning of the month, but it was post the last meeting. Would anyone like to comment on this letter?
Mayor, are we still under the procedure that citizen comments are to be taken, but generally there is no response given to the comments? They can be taken up further on in the agenda.
As we used to do it, we had it so that the correspondences were commented on, but the citizens' comments were not. Is that correct? Or do you not want to comment on any of it?
No, I think we should, thank her for her letter and that we will give consideration to her comments.
Arlo, can we direct you to do that for us, please? And, each one of these is kind of a big issue that's definitely being addressed. We have, committees definitely working on stuff. The cemetery is something that I feel we haven't talked about in a while that we should consider. But, maybe we could actually, put some of these items on an agenda, or put it on in a way that we can actually, discuss them in more depth. What do you guys, what does the board think as far as that?
It sounds good to me. Yeah.
Give it a letter from Nick, Navarez. It's on the agenda. The, mural is gonna be on this agenda, so, that was one of his concerns, I believe, that we were not taking into account that this mural was, that we were going to be able to turn this, this stage, make more improvements on the stage, and I think that, it's on the agenda, and maybe we'll talk about it on Monday, next Monday.
Sure, it sounds good.
And the last one. It's a town property agreement, which is on the agenda for. Something that we postponed.
The what?
The T road.
The T-Road, yeah.
T road going to be postponed until next Monday.
Okay.
Sure, I'm not, we
It's
can do
just
that.
a,
I
it's
just have a
just a
question.
notification, it's not, they're not asking for any town property, they're not asking for any street closure, they just wanted to give the board a heads up that they will be having an event on that day, on that time, and that they're utilizing their patio.
One thing that the event committee had discussed that we haven't agreed on yet is to have, eventually a 2-month, prior notice so that we can end up having, everybody in the town know that there's gonna be louder noise, and if people wanna be able to leave or they have enough time to do that, so that's something that, the event committee will bring up at some point, and we will have to, make sure that that is something that that people do in advance, because, I think that's one of the biggest complaints is that people don't know about these events in advance, yes. Ms. Trustee.
So this is not actually a request to use town property, and it's just a notice of an event. For our, event notification.
Right.
Rules that we have. So I don't see that there's any action to be taken on this.
No, I think it's just a correspondence that they're trying to tell us, probably because they're going till 9 and it's gonna be outside on the patio. Which, again, we haven't figured out exactly how we wanna handle these events. It's probably gonna be, my guess is it's gonna be loud till 9 on Saturday.
That's my understanding is.
And I think something, please, I wondered why they had put that application in myself. And, my concern is that it may have been something that was given to us in preparation, like you're saying, preparing us for loud noise, but that still doesn't exclude them from following our municipal code as far as the decibel level. I hope they understand that.
Yeah, that's my understanding, that they understand the decibel level. They were advised in the past to do this, if they planned on having music on the patio, they were advised by former clerk Allison Ransom to fill this out anytime they wanted to have music on the patio.
So on this, it says here, by citing below, you agree to the following, and one of those is applicant shall comply with all town of Preston's rules, regulations, and ordinances. That's part of it. So I think the only action that I see that we take is that we just acknowledge that the town has received their notice of event.
I agree. I think that we just let them know that they still have to follow the decibel code, the code that relays the decibel readings, and, we might wanna, I mean, one thing that I've been trying to do on the event committee is have, Mateo be our kind of liaison when it comes to noise, and so he would go around with a chart and a decibel reading meter and actually take meter readings throughout the whole, event. Not for this event, but for, other events. We might wanna let him know so that he can actually take readings at this event. So it's something that I think that is important, that we get a little bit of a basic threshold on what the noise is at these different areas around the town. And around, when it comes to, the music festival, I'm gonna make a chart that he's gonna have that will basically lay out each point, and he'll have his, decibel readings at each point, and then I'll be able to, lay that back to the board, so we have an idea of where we're at with different types of music. So, as part of the event committee. Or, so. Are we gonna move on with reports? Do you guys wanna have reports,
Do we have
It's 11 o'clock, it's 5 to 11, so.
Mr. Mayor, we voted to table reports until the next meeting.
I know Kim's here, that was the only thing was that, she kind of laid out a pretty good sized report in our binder, and I don't know.
I'm here off the bar right now.
Okay.
I was very interested in what was happening here. But I'm certainly willing to step up if you would like some commentary.
Would you be willing to come on Monday, 15th, and
Yes.
be part of our next meeting?
Yes, and I actually, It was, just brought to my attention, last week, basically on Thursday. I did not realize that a narrative report was desirable every time. So I'd be happy to do something, prepare something like that.
Okay.
And or there was also a discussion at our, staff meeting, on Thursday, about other reports that would be desirable for the board to see.
Yeah, one report, is basically how we're doing with our budget in comparison to our actuals. I know that's something that's difficult, but it's also something that we need.
That for sure, I understand what you're saying. I don't have numbers in the books, to my knowledge, on the present year budget. So there's 2023 is all done, we're up to speed now,
Okay,
but that's it, fair.
but for 2024, like, as we're moving forward, nothing yet. Okay. I mean, it's something that we're gonna end up starting to need because our budget is kind of our plan. It's our foundation of what we do throughout the year. So I don't know if there's a way to plug in our budget in and then start turning it into an actual,
Right.
maybe
I could speak with, Adam after, or at a break. About finance committee, need those numbers.
Yeah, I talked to him.
yes.
I would move to approve the check register.
For a second,
What was the check that Joe Killen Greenlee for?
I think we have a vacancy on the board. Maybe coming up.
It being there are no minutes, there's no approval for spending of $1,342.75 for anybody to know what it was for. It's for a lawyer and vote. Does anybody know?
No, me.
It's their law firm out of Boulder. That's all I know. $1,342.75 paid on
what was the date?
February 27th.
We have an invoice.
So was there no second to my motion?
Yeah, we need a second first and then we can move on to discussion about that. I get a second about the check register.
So second,
Okay, now we can discuss. What was the one that you're talking about? On,
It's February 27th. The check is to Berg, Hill, and Greenleaf for $1,342.75. To the best of my knowledge, being we don't have any minutes to compare it to, there was no approval for spending that money. Or the following check for Alpine Electric for $1,000.40.
Alpine Electric is Craig, right?
No,
Oh, that's High Mountain.
as far as I know, he's not.
I suggest
we
we
get
pull the
any
minutes.
information on that?
She's gonna try and pull the invoices, but that might take
Okay,
some time. Can I ask who seconded that?
Dennis second.
Thank you.
So,
There are other contractors being paid that don't have, insurance.
I would just say, again, there's a vacancy on the board, and if Warren wants to participate in these conversations after citizens' comments, I think he either needs to get on the board or ask that question during citizens' comments,
I
but
agree.
letting him talk all the time is out of line.
I agree. So we have a motion on second.
we have a motion and second, for check registry. Does anyone wanna, or call for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
nay.
Nay.
Right. Until we get the answers on what those bills were for.
Well, we approve anything over
Yeah,
$500.
and I
We just
assume
need
the
the
mayor
minutes to
signed those.
Verify it, but I know we don't just sign checks for $3,800.
I never heard, have you ever heard of this?
You know, there's something.
Burke Hill is the town's water attorney.
So, it's 11 o'clock?
Yes,
That-
we're gonna, take a reset. And we will come back and have this.
So we also have Craig, who came here from where? So it might be nice to spend a few minutes with him.
What is he here
What's
for?
his-
He's on the agenda for a grant.
Talk about grant, support that I can offer, as part of the state program.
When the
Which
agenda was
one
approved,
are
we
we at?
said till 11:15.
He's Craig,
11:15.
11C.
Okay, so then we have time. I'm sorry, I thought it was set till 11.
Just because he came all the way from Alamosa, it might be respectful, but
I appreciate
So
that.
let's make the grants.
Please come up.
Oh, I see, okay.
Thanks, thank you very much for considering, my name is Craig Bearclaw. I'm representing the San Luis Valley Council of Governments and Open Resources Group.
and we get a lot of complaints about our Zoom, so if you could
Sure.
please talk loud.
Is this on?
Like this is done.
You guys hear me out there?
Now,
Again, I'm Craig Bearclaw, representing the Council of Governments. A couple of things, I know there's some new folks here, you guys are, the town is a member of the Council of Governments, and from our executive director, she appreciates you guys being a member, it's voluntary enrollment, if you will. If I could skip to one other thing too, as far as new members, just for a timeliness thing, it's not on the agenda. But we're having an orientation this Wednesday for new members. I know it's on your agenda today to determine who might fill Kyrie's position on the Council of Governments. So at that point, and I can work with Ariel on that, but we do have an orientation Wednesday if that person is available. It's gonna be at the depot in Alamosa from 9 o'clock till like 2 or so. Just to learn what the Council of Governments does. But I'll get with Ariel on that whenever you do decide who's gonna be that replacement for Kyrie. So
what? Huh, would I do it?
I mean, you,
it can be the mayor, it can be any trustee,
Oh, I
whatever
see.
you want, yeah,
Okay.
so it's up to you guys.
Can you explain a little more of what you're, I mean, cause we're, you know, the mayor, went to these meetings and she would sometimes give us reports, but I mean, what's the mission of it?
Yeah, the Council of Governments is set up to just be in support of the local governments within the valley. So whether it's legislative, we do grant type work with you guys, we can help coordinate projects. I didn't come prepared with a full rundown. I'm kind of targeted with just grants right now, but basically it's being a representative on that Council of Government, just to know what's going on. Everybody shares what projects they're working on. 41 water regulation, those kinds of things are handled by the Council of Government. So it's a way to be involved with the whole valley as a region. So there's nothing too strenuous or stressful about being on that council. You're just representing your town.
When's your meeting? When are the meetings?
Right now, they're having a monthly, I believe it's the last Monday of the month. Might be the third, I'm not sure.
And then as far as grants, what grants are you offering the town grants or are you?
Well, as far as what I'm doing, I'm labeled the Regional Grants Navigator. The state has hired 14 of us around the state to represent the regions.
to try to bring in some of the federal dollars that are out there. They've come out, the feds have come out with some very large grants. You guys might be familiar with like ARPA, and now there's the IIJA, they say now it's been out for a couple of years. IIJA, or what the feds call the BIL, bipartisan infrastructure law. And then the IRA, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, which is kind of an odd name, it's really for clean energy, green technology, that kind of thing. So there's somewhere around $2 trillion of it's federal dollars. The state wants to make sure we can get it down to the local level. So that's my role. So I'm basically a resource for you guys and all the towns and cities in the valley. There's no charge for what I do, and the state has funded my role. So and I saw you had a brick grant on here, I can help with that. The main function I serve is to help navigate, we have projects that we wanna do as a town. And Kyrena and Scott Erisman had come up and we talked.
I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So we can kind of partner up on the projects. So that's my main role. I can help you guys, I can be a liaison with the state and the feds as well. One thing to know is that the state right now has some really good programs to try to facilitate that grant, getting those grants down here. One of those is an actual grant writing function, no cost to the local government. As long as that grant is one of the either IRA or IIJA source, you can apply through DOLA's website, and they have contractors that will help you do that grant writing. Tremendous resource. We're working with the state on a couple of them right now, and they can help all the way from initial project planning right down to, we wrote the grant, can you have a third party review it before we submit it? So again, no cost, a great opportunity. They're also working on a second project in support of that, which would be grant management. A lot of times the smaller communities may get a grant, and then you have that reality of trying to manage it, particularly if it's federal. A lot of work involved, as you might know.
Yeah.
So they're working on a program. This is probably gonna be through either DOLA or the governor's office or OEDIT, Office of Economic Development. And they'll help you actually manage that grant and do reports. The third program they have is called LOMA, and that's through the DOLA website, and that's to help with matching funds for federal grants. So if you find a federal grant you want, and there's that match needed, they have a pot of funds set aside strictly to match those two grant programs. Again, a tremendous benefit.
Yeah.
So, really, I'll leave it at that. We could talk more, but, Ariel has my contact info and, but if you're looking at some of these federal grants, do get in contact with me and I can help you to, get in touch with the state folks.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Randy Sneed, you guys probably.
Oh, yeah.
Her and I get together, we try to get together monthly and talk about projects that locals are doing. We've got a list of projects that everybody's wanting to do, so when you talk to her, you can, she knows what I'm doing, I kind of know what she's doing, she does a lot more across the board, but just so you know, we're in communication. So we can also help with letters of support from the Congress folks. We work with Aaron Minks from Senator Bennett's office and Azarel from Hagenluper's office. So if you guys need letters of support for grant, I mean, you can do that directly too, but if you need to contact, I can do that.
So we're working with Randy on a few grants that we're still trying to clear up. I don't know exactly what our status is, but I personally feel like we're unfortunately, we're overloaded a little bit right now. We kind of need help with these existing grants that we're already in. Because we had a big transition with administrator and all these different things that happened, and so I don't know if there's any possible way you could help us through Randy by looking at these already existing open grants and helping us fulfill what we've already committed to. That's a big deal because we're you know, we're definitely like struggling with that, I think, as
Yeah, maybe if you wanna get a hold of me, I could come back up and sit down with the appropriate folks
Okay.
to really lay it out, maybe come up with a plan. And maybe Randy's there as well, something like that.
yeah, we really need to look back at what was already done and kind of see what we committed to. I know there was one that if we didn't follow through on it, that we would have to refund it, which was not something we want to be doing.
Right,
So.
yeah, definitely.
So, I'd like to thank you for coming in, and, I think, you know, we should welcome, I mean, I think the board should welcome your help with, assisting our town treasurer, with QuickBooks Online. I think that would be great.
No, this is a different subject.
Pardon?
This is a different subject.
Right, but this is, we're looking at your grant capacity, and I think we would also really welcome your support. You know, my understanding with having worked before with the SLB Development Resource Group, you guys are just a real valuable resource here in the valley. And so I would encourage there again with our town clerk and our town treasurer to reach out to your group for assistance. And I think here in the future, as we look at our grants, that we could reach out to you for help. So thank you very much.
It's a good time to do it. Number one, the state has all those programs I mentioned, plus the federal dollars that are out there, they're saying this is maybe once in 1 or 2 generations, those kinds of fundings that are out there, so. Any other questions?
So maybe at some point here, we can, you know, we could have maybe even a work session with Craig to kind of review where we're at with our grant statuses that we have and, you know, what we have out there that hasn't been completed, or, you know, really just have a sit down with you where we could have more time.
Yeah,
And with our treasurer and with our clerk and do that, so.
absolutely.
That might be
Yeah,
something
one of
we
our-
could do.
You know, when we had our administrator, she was kind of like taking the ball of those grants and turning them into, you know. However, she applied for some, I think you just received one from, her name was on it.
I have no idea why my
It's,
name.
it's in here,
Yeah, the firefighter.
Fire,
I don't know why my name.
yeah, so, I mean, we really need help kind of,
Yeah, and that's something where maybe the state program, again, they haven't announced it yet, they haven't published it yet, but they're working on it, and they told us that probably 3 months ago. I'll find out, I'll be meeting with the state tomorrow, I'll find out where that's at, because maybe that's something where they could jump in and help that management.
yeah, we need management. is what we-
Yeah,
And, I mean, maybe Randy will help us as well. I mean, that,
Sure.
she offered, but, we really need all the help we can get when it comes to grants.
you bet.
So we should go to
Yes.
recess?
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We're gonna recess for, till, what do we say, 2 o'clock?
I think the right,
Is it that?
That one.
We're taking a break for the now. Your stuff. We have to get that done anyway. So 11 to 2.
I wanna add like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I try to. do my part, but, oh, yeah, that's when I was, probably reading. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, thank you, I know, it's,